Okay. Can you please brief yourself?
I work on the mutual fund domain. My role is to get the requirement from the client. Based on those requirements, we provide the data for different groups such as reporting teams and analytics team. As a data engineer, I work on Hive, Scoop, HDFS, and PySpark. These are my basic.
Okay. But what exactly your roles and responsibilities?
From the requirements, we need to provide the data for different teams like reporting team and like analytics team for machine building. Data we need to prepare the data and we need to pass on this data to the reporting.
So, from where you get a source data?
For the source data we get from a source system like mobile applications and websites and from other banks too.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. So, is it a structured or unstructured or semi-structured? What kind of data it is?
Data will be unstructured data.
Okay, unstructured data, right? So, to import that unstructured data, what you will do and what are the tools that you generally use to get that data into your directory?
From the mobile application data and they will be they will get it to the Firebase. From the Firebase, we have a job to trigger from Firebase to our HDFS system. From there, we will be picking up the data and we will be providing it.
So you deal with only unstructured data?
With structured data also we deal with MySQL database as well.
Mm-hmm. To import structured data, what tool that you will use?
We are using a Scoop data.
Mm-hmm. So you know Scoop as well, right?
Yeah.
Can you please let me know what is the syntax to write a Scoop job?
Okay, Scoop create job which is job name. Then we need to write the command which we want to import table name like connection username password, then the whatever the import tables we need to import to the target directory.
So how will you pass a password parameter? So will you maintain that in our code directly or you refer that from different file?
We mention it in a different file.
Mm-hmm. So how you configure that different file into your actual job?
We create a variable and when we calling to the Scoop job, we pass this different file which we stored as a argument to the Scoop job while calling to it.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. So what is the frequency of your Scoop job? Like, is it a daily or weekly or monthly?
It's weekly.
Mm-hmm. So what may be the data size when you load data weekly?
It would be around 40 to 50 GB.
40 to 50 GB you try to load up. Mm-hmm. So
What?
how many jobs you run to load that 40 to 50 GB of data into your system?
Like one particular job would be loading this much of data. There are multiple jobs to load this, like other different.
How many jobs you have to run weekly?
Weekly it would be like 15 jobs.
That means each job is around 40 to 50 GB. It loads the data.
Yeah. Yeah.
How much time it will take to load 40 to 50 GB of data?
It would be taking approximately 15 to 20 minutes.
Within 15 to 20 minutes, is that job will complete or will load?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What is the scheduler that you generally use to run these jobs, the Scoop jobs?
Airflow scheduler there.
Do you know Airflow as well?
I don't know the Airflow scheduler.
But how will you schedule the Scoop job?
Like we have a separate scheduling team. From there they schedule it.
Acha. So, but the thing is, how come this job will load 40 to 50 GB within 15 to 20 minutes? Do you know what exactly when a scoop job runs, right? What is the internally it will run?
It runs the map job.
So right, MapReduce job it triggers internally, correct?
Yeah.
So, but do you think a MapReduce job will complete its load within 15 to 20 minutes in case of 40 GB or 50 GB data?
Yeah, I feel it.
Okay. Okay. So, um, for regarding unstructured data, right? So, how will you filter? Like, if whatever the data that you are getting into your Hadoop or a storage system, how will you filter out the data? Like, if the data is correct or not, how can you, check whether the data which you received is as per your requirement or not? How will you do that?
Like, we first load it to the RDD and then we will go for a data validation, like which on all the data we needed. We will be selecting those and be passing to the several stages.
So, are you using Spark with Scala or Spark with Python?
Spark with PySpark.
Okay. PySpark you are saying. So, what is the version of PySpark that been using your company?
We are using a 2.8.
2.8 of Spark.
Yeah.
What about Hadoop?
Hadoop we are not using actually.
Without Hadoop, you're running Spark.
Like Spark engine is different, right? Actually, like why do we have Hadoop? Like we are
So
not using the map reduce engine.
it's okay, but where the data will be loaded, like where the data will be reside. Spark won't store the data, right?
Yeah, okay, that in that format you're asking, okay. Like the Hadoop version I don't know.
Acha. Okay. So you're saying you can create a RDD, right? What is the syntax to create an RDD from a file?
Spark context dot read part of the file name.
Is it correct?
sc dot read text file. Inside that we need to pass the path of the file.
Still, I'm not convinced. Are you sure? Is that the correct syntax? To create an RDD from a file?
Yeah.
Can you please try to memorize? Okay. So, what are the transformations you generally do after creating RDD?
We done. Okay. Like once RDT is created, then we go for with convert the RDT into the data frame. Then we apply a different joint.
How will you create a data frame out of RDD?
Group by. We have a function called RDD dot 2df. If you give it will be converted from RDD to the data frame.
Correct, but in a RDD, whatever the data is there, you are saying unstructured, right? If RDD is having unstructured data, when you use, a 2DF method to convert RDD to data frame, so will it create a structured data?
No, like once after the we process the unstructured data to the structured data, we will be using.
How will you do? How will you convert unstructured to structured data? That is my question.
Like we will be passing the filter transformation on any mapping functions.
Can you please repeat the steps that you follow to convert a data from unstructured to structured data? What are the steps that you generally follow? Or what are the transformations or actions you will use to convert a data from unstructured to structured data?
Usually we follow a map transformation.
So let us say, I can give you one example. There is a file, comma separated file, CSV. Okay? There is a college. The college, right, student name, student ID, class, and marks or subject, something like that. like that we have 10 columns, okay, 10 columns. All the data is in CSV file format, that is a comma separated, but it doesn't have any header, okay. As I am the owner of the data, I will give you the column names explicitly, okay. And your responsibility is, first of all, you have to bring that CSV file into your Hadoop, and then you're supposed to create an or data frame or RDD, whatever is more suitable. But whatever the column name that I will pass to you, you're supposed to add as a header, okay, with a proper schema or a data type. Okay, how will you do this?
Okay, we for our own data type, we have a structured data type which is called a struct type. In that we create a struct fields and field name with a data type you want, and we can pass this struct type as an option parameter while creating the data frame. Creating the data frame in the while reading the file. Like data frame Spark session dot read format of the file schema. We need to pass the schema name, then load the path.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, it would create the data frame with whatever the structured schema you have given.
Okay. So wait, how will you load the data, or how will you save the data? What is the inbuilt method that you will use to save the data?
We can to write file to the particular location, or we can write as a table.
Save as table.
Save as table, providing the table name.
Acha. Okay. So do you know the concept called repartition and coils?
Yeah.
May I know the difference between both?
Repartition and
Coils.
okay. Repartition and coils are used to repartition the existing data frame. Like repartition, in the repartition we can increase the partition or decrease the partition. In coils we can only decrease the partition, we cannot increase it. And data shuffling will be more in repartitioning and less in coils. Data will be unifiedly distributed in repartition, and data will not be unifiedly distributed in coils.
Okay, fine. So I will ask you one more question. Like let us say in a Hadoop, one file size is there. Let us say the file size is 256 MB file. Okay. So when you create a data frame or a RDD, okay, how many partitions will be created in a Spark?
Okay, like it would be created 2 partition.
Okay.
Okay.
So okay, I have one more question. That is correct. I have one more question. The same. It is a continuation to that question, previous question. All right. The question is the same file, right? While reading the file from HDFS, if I give some filter, okay, filter means I just put some filter where it filter out the data, and after filter the data is around 100 MB. Okay, original file is 256 MB. After using some filter, okay, while creating an RDD, okay, so my data set is having around 100 MB. So now how many partitions will be created in a Spark?
Only one partition would be created.
Okay, are you sure?
Yeah.
The answer is 2 only. Okay, it won't create one. It will create 2 partitions. All right. Do one thing. After this call, you can try yourself. Okay, you can do practice, right? So you can come to know.
Yeah.
Correct. And you can give an answer for this question once I upload this video into YouTube, so that let others know. All right. Okay. So good. Do you know concept called map side join?
Yeah.
What is the map side join?
Map side is join is called as a broadcast join. When a file is very small, when the joining file is one of the file is small, this file will be party hash key file will be generated, and this hash key file will be passed to the each of the mappers, and joining will be based on the mapping side.
Mm-hmm. When you are using Spark, so is it necessary to use this kind of technical? This kind of method?
Like Spark by default, if we have enabled the auto broadcast join to true, then it would automatically initiate itself it. Or else, if not, then we need to pass the int keyword, the keyword to make it as a auto broadcasting. Or else by Spark would automatically do if the file size is less than recaptures.
Acha. Okay. So do you know difference between rank and dense rank functions?
Yeah, like rank and dense rank are the ranking function used to assign the ranks. But when there is a tie between a row, like a rank function assign the same rank and skips the upcoming rank, where a dense rank assign the same rank and does not skip the upcoming rank.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, okay. When you execute any Spark application, right? So, where you generally see logs? If something happened and your job was failed, then where you generally go through or go to and see the log?
We go to the Spark UI and validate it, on which stage it failed and what was the reason.
What is the Spark UI and where you generally see what is the URL of that?
Spark UI is user interface for handling the Spark job. Yeah, its default port number is 4040.
Acha. What is the resource manager or a cluster manager that you are using?
Yan.
Acha. Can you please let me know when you submit any application? So how internally Spark executes?
Okay. When we execute like submit the Spark job creates a function called as a driver program. Once the driver program is created, it would create a something called as a DAG, which is a directed acyclic graph. Once this directed acyclic graph is converted, DAG like a driver program contacts the connection like resource manager and asks for the resources. This resource manager creates the resources in the different existing nodes, and this existing nodes will be in this nodes a JVM will be created, which is called as a executor. Then this executor register with the driver node. Then the driver node sends a DAG which is prepared to this executor to execute the task, and this task will be completed, and then results will be sent back to the driver program.
Okay. So what is the on heap and a half heap memory?
On heap and off heap memory are like no, I'm not sure.
Okay, you haven't read?
No.
Okay. So if you get a chance, then try to visit our playlist where we explained on heap and off heap in detail, recent videos. Okay. All right. So regarding Hive, are you using Hive?
Yeah.
Okay. So why you are using Hive? Because you are using Spark, right? So why you are using Hive?
Like some of the analytic people are good in using the Hive tables, so data will be moved to the Hive, and some of the reporting pointers like reporting devices were also pointed to the Hive database, so they use Hive.
Mm-hmm. So, what type of table that you generally use in Hive? Like we have a different types of tables, right? What type of table that you created?
Yeah, we have two types of tables. One is called as a external table, and one is called as an internal table.
Okay, difference?
External table, the location will be in a normal Hadoop HDFS location, whereas in a Hive, we have a separate location for storing it, which is user Hive warehouse. In this location, the file tables will be created. For other external tables, it will be a normal HDFS, or you can specify the HDFS location where you want to create the table.
Okay. What is Hive metadata? Where it will store?
Hive metadata is information about the tables, schemas, and structures. Where does it store? It depends upon the where they have created. Like Hive comes with a default metadata store server known as Derby. There it can be stored, or we can go with the remote metadata server.
Okay. So I think one more, there is a local metastore also there, right? So what is the difference between local metastore and a remote metastore?
Local metastore and remote metastore. Like in remote metastore, all the Hive node can be connected and get the data. In local metastore, only a single user can be login, and other data would have been not been possible.
Then what is the difference between Derby and local?
Derby is a inbuilt metastore system.
Okay, I'm just asking a difference between Derby and local metastore.
I'm not sure about this.
Okay, go and read it. It is also very important. Okay.
Yes.
So can you please let me know the syntax for creating a bucketing?
Okay. Create table name, column names, close the bracket, cluster by column which you want to bucket into n number of buckets.
Sure. So again, a question from a bucketing. So let us say we have a 10 columns supposed to be created. Okay. And out of that, need to create a 2 columns for a bucketing. Okay.
Okay.
So is it the 10 column supposed to be there inside the columns or inside the cluster? Cluster by we will use it, right? When we use the cluster by, we supposed to give a column names, right?
Okay.
So those columns are present inside the actual syntax or not?
It should be present in the actual syntax. In a
What
partition, it should not be. In a cluster, it.
Acha. So what is the difference between partitioning and and a bucketing?
Partitioning and bucket is used to distribute the data. Like when we have more unique values or more identity, then we go with bucketing. When we have a less unique values, then we go with partitioning.
Acha. So can we go with both?
Yeah, we can go with the both. Like we can first go with the partition, then bucket the bucketing also.
Acha. So what may be the syntax to create a table to allow both partitioning and bucketing?
Okay. Create table name inside the column, except the column which we are going to partition, and then close the bracket like that. Then partition column name and the data type which you are partitioning, then clustered by that column name which you are going for bucketing into n number of buckets.
What are the generally concepts that you've been using in a Spark with Python? Like where you are using a Python library. What are the types of libraries you are using which are belongs to Python?
Python libraries we are not using much in
Do you know OS module or a library?
OS model 2. Yeah.
Okay, what it will do?
It is used to check the files exist or not in a particular location,
Okay.
file path location.
Okay. So in a Python, right? Is it a interpreted language or what? Is Python interpreted language
Yeah,
or
it's
not?
an interpreter.
What does
It's
it
an
mean?
interpreter language.
What does it mean?
Like it does not need it can be worked as a interactively, like one-to-one.
So what are the difference between these sets and dictionary?
Dictionary is a collection of key value pairs. The set is a collection of values of different types of unique types.
That's it? Anything else? Different?
Set is immutable. Data type, dictionary is mutable.
So is it an ordered collection or an unordered collection?
It's an ordered collection. Dictionary is unordered collection.
Are you sure or saying something, for the sake of giving an answer?
Dictionary, I'm not sure.
Okay. Tell me the difference between tuple and list.
Tuple and list are like a collection of elements. List is mutable, where tuple is not mutable. Tuple, for accessing the data, tuple is much faster than list.
So can we load different types of data types of a data into a list?
Yeah, it's possible.
What about tuple?
Yeah, even tuple can hold a different type of data.
Okay. Do you know a concept called decorators in Python?
Yeah.
What is that?
Like for existing function, if we need to enhance the capability, then we go with the decorator without changing the main functionality.
Example?
Like you want to add a number, you have a function to add a number called 2 and 3, like A and B.
Okay.
But without changing this A and B, you need to, whatever the value the user pass for the A and B, you need to first square them, then you need to multiply. Penalty you need to add. Now let us consider. Then we can go with a decorator where A and B will be squared before going for addition.
Okay. So have you ever used this concept in your applications?
No.
Gotcha. Okay. So okay, Manjunath, I think I'm done. So you tell me what are the expectation from our end, like, so that I will try to give you a feedback. What is your expectation? So why you are asking me to take a mock interview? So what is your expectation, so that I will try to do something for you.
Like I was previously working as a ETL developer. Now currently I am switching to the Bigdata India, and this is my first interview, not actually like work experience. Like I have an interview tomorrow. Like what and all I should work more on.
Okay. So you have an interview tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
You have a big data interview tomorrow, correct?
Yeah.
So I think what I understood when beginning of the interview, which we have started, is that you supposed to explain in detail of your project. Okay, you haven't explained much. You have referred to 2-3 points. Okay, and structured data, scoop, and Hadoop reporting. You used 3-4 terms and you completed your answer within a minute. So, but to prove yourself as an experienced guy, so definitely you should explain your project at least 3 to 4 minutes or 5 minutes, I can say. Okay. So otherwise, right, what we can understand is that, like, you may not have a real-time exposure, or you haven't involved actively in your project. Okay, that may be the feedback that we can able to understand from your answers. So I don't know how you will prepare, but yeah, based on your current experience and you supposed to explain in detailed manner. If you need any help, we have a video in our YouTube channel, how to explain a project. I explained in detail in a 5 to 8 minutes. Okay, so I think if you go through that video, definitely that will be more helpful. I strongly recommend you to please watch that video before attending an interview. so that it will give some clarity. Okay, and one more, right? When you are trying to explain your project, try to stick with anyone, either structured data or unstructured data. Okay, so I asked you, right? So you were saying both structured and unstructured. It is not that much easy to maintain both, but nobody is expecting that you're supposed to learn both at a time, right? Even if you are good at one area, like structured data, how it will process, then that is still fine. But nowadays, I don't think MySQL is not widely using. Okay, I think we are using MySQL for a practicing purpose, but in real time, it's very rare to use. Okay, so instead you can say SAP, okay, SAP or SQL Server. Okay, so you can say this. So nobody will ask you the questions from that. Okay, but questions will come from a Scoop. Questions will come from a Hadoop. Okay, and but I already asked one question, like how much time it will take to complete the one Scoop job to load that 40 GB data. So generally every day or every week it is very huge. The 40 GB is very huge, I can say. But still, if you are claiming that your workflow is loading data around 40 to 50 GB a week, that is still fine. But you have to support with your answer, like, yeah, it is taking around 4 to 5 hours to load the data. Okay, because it's not a Spark, right? If it is a Spark JDBC or ODBC, then it may take around maybe around 30 minutes to load entire data. But coming to MapReduce jobs will definitely take some time. Okay, you cannot claim that, okay, our job is taking 10 to 15 minutes. That is wrong. If 10 to 15 minutes, I think, as per my experience, might be you can load around 5 GB or 10 GB maximum. But I'm not sure even that. Okay, because we haven't used them, MapReduce in our cluster, so even I'm not sure. But I'm expecting to load at least 10 GB of data. It may take at least 10 minutes or 5 minutes minimum, or more than that. Okay, so better you say if you stick with the 40 or 50 GB, and you supposed to say that, okay, it is taking around 3 to 4 hours or 2 to 3 hours at least. All right.
Okay.
That is the area that you have to understand, and I can say you are good at what you learn. Okay, and you answered many questions correctly, I can say. And thing is, you are lacking some bit of confidence. Okay, though you know the answers, though you know correct answers, but you are not able to speak that much louder or that much confidence. Okay, somewhere I'm finding you are lagging in a confidence, but you know the answers and you are saying it also. So why don't you say that same answers in a bit better confidence? Okay, so that
Okay.
area you're supposed to improve. All right, and and I can say scheduler. Okay, scheduler, right? So it's still fine. Okay, scheduler. If you don't know about scheduler, it is still fine, but at least you have to have some basic knowledge on it. Okay, so if you know some basic knowledge, you can able to say that, okay, I have a basic knowledge, but actually my another team who another team with admin will work with this part where they will schedule the jobs when we give the scheduling or timings. You can say that word. There's no problem. But you, as a developer, you're supposed to have a knowledge in at least one scheduler. All right. Okay. And log. Okay. And the challenges that you face while you are doing your applications, like what type of issues that you faced. Is there any job failures? If it is so, what are the errors that it got? Job failed some due to some reasons, right? What are those reasons? If it is so, then what are the fix that you did it? Okay, or how much time it will take to fix that issues? Okay, so how you handle in general? How you handle that case? So that is
Like
also
usually in while running we use a normal executor mode and run it, right? Like we can see the error in the trace back only. Like how do we do in actually do in production mode?
in production, right? That's what I asked you one question, right? Where you see logs. You said
Yeah.
Spark 404040. All right. So
Okay.
see, in real time, right? Whatever you said, answer is correct. But thing is, since we are using cluster manager, we generally see the logs in a cluster manager itself. In a yarn, right? Where you can see that how many jobs submitted. Okay, how many jobs are accepted, how many jobs are running, how many jobs are in queue, how many jobs are pending. how many jobs are completed, how many jobs got failed. All this will be there in a left side of the corner on the top, okay, in a cluster manager. So that you have to go to that particular tab and locate the jobs which are failed. And then when you click on that job ID, then it will open up, in a window. In that window, you will somewhere find log, okay, log. If you click on a log, then entire log will be downloaded, or you can able to see entire log. Okay, then you have to go through the issue, right? That is the way you have to trace it, right?
Yeah, okay.
So, and you may expect some questions like how you will submit a Spark job and what are the configurations that you generally do. Okay, so those kind of questions also you can expect in an interview. So whatever that you are going
Yeah,
to
like
say.
for Spark the big job, yeah, like Spark the big job, we calculate the executor memory and all, right? Like this executor memory should be depend on the file we are going to submit it,
Correct. That is
or
also
it's
one factor.
independent.
That is also one of the factor. It's based on the data size. Okay, and also the cluster resources which are available. Okay, you have to be aware the cluster resources as well. Okay, so for that, right, you may have to contact you may have to contact your architects or admin of a cluster manager, and so that because
No,
they,
like
yeah,
you have uploaded a video about calculating that,
correct,
right? That is
correct,
the maximum configuration we can submit it,
yes, and
right?
moreover, yeah, go proceed.
Yeah, that is the maximum configuration we can and best optimization configuration we can submit. But the intro question will be like, what if what will the configuration when 1 GB of file is given, or what if 10 GB of file is given? How do where is this with respect to a file size?
See, I have given clear clarification, right? How to calculate number of executors, right? I think I have given. Am I right?
Yeah, you have given correct.
So you have to follow that. That is one. And the second one is, though you have arrived some number of executors, first of all you have to see whether those number of executors or drivers are available or not, or resources available or not. Correct? Okay. So if a job is super critical or super important, then you have to convey that to the cluster managers or cluster managers says admins we can say, and let these jobs will run in a critical pool. Okay, there is a different types of pools. Okay, super urgent or important, not important, or optional, something like that. If your job is that much important, they will try to run those jobs in a critical pool, where all important jobs will be run in a critical pool. That means whatever that you are expecting a number of executors supposed to be given to your job. So the jobs which are running as part of critical pool will be getting all the requested resources. That is the first. And the second pool is kind of a medium urgency. Third pool is a normal jobs. Okay, so they will divide based on their available resources. Okay, based on your urgency of the job, based on your job SLS. Okay, so your responsibility is to calculate the number of executors and then contacting admins to allocate or to push this job into some pool. Okay,
Yeah,
so
correct, sir. But my point is like this calculation, whatever you have given,
mhm.
is fixed for all the files. But how to calculate this calculation for a particular file, like a 10 GB file or a 1 GB file? Like this, if you run a 1 GB file, if you run a 10 executor for just a 1 GB file, it will be a waste.
Mhm.
How to where is this? I'm not got.
Have you gone through
Hello.
how to calculate the number of executors from my previous video?
Yeah.
So how you have calculated? Is it based on data size only, no?
No, it's based on our cluster management. Like if you have so much cluster, then we divided based on the uh, executor course, leaving a one core for OS. In that format, it's calculated.
See, it's not depends only on a cluster. Okay, it also depends on our input data set, right? So though let us say you have a 100 GB data file. Okay, you want to process it. Okay, but unfortunately cluster is not having more than 100 nodes. In that 100 nodes, let us say each node having, let us say, 4 executors. Okay, 4 into 100, there are 400 executors. But to run your job, you need 100 executors. Let us say each executor is taking around 5 minutes time to complete your job. That means if you allocate a 400 executor to your job, okay, then they will complete in 5 minutes. Okay, let us assume if you are give 50 executors instead of 100 executors, then there might be a queue, right? Because there are 100 partitions. You can say each partition size is, let us say, 1 GB. Just assume like that. It may not be a 1 GB, but I'm just telling. Okay, so to process 1 GB of data in an executor may take yeah, we just now discussed, right? Let us assume it is taking 5 minutes of time to execute that particular 1 GB of data for one executor. So once you apply or give only 50 executors, then there are 50 partitions will be in queue, right? At a time only 50 partitions will be processed, right? You know, right? One partition will take 5 minutes. Okay, to complete two partitions, then it will take two times of 5 minutes. That is 10 minutes, right? So each executor will take 10 minutes to process two partitions, right? So ultimately it will take 10 minutes time to complete 100 partitions if you provide only 50 executors. You're getting me?
Okay.
But you have calculated somehow based on my previous experience or previous video that you got some, you want some 100 executors. But unfortunately cluster is not having 100 executors. That they may allow you use only 50 executors. Then what you will do? There is no other option, right? You should give only 50 executors. Am I right?
Yeah.
So whatever calculation we done, that is not that we are not following at all because of a cluster resource unavailability. Correct? Try to understand all the scenarios and then submit a job on a cluster. All right. And if you go through my previous videos recently on PySpark, I also explained performance tuning, performance or Spark optimization techniques, like where we have to use the queries, where we have to use the repartition, where we have to use reduce by key, where we have to use group by key or aggregate by key. So these all matters. All right. So these also is one of the factors to decide number of executors. Correct?
Okay, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
I think this is enough for you. Please try to
transformation.
Yeah.
Transformation, like on real time, what are the transformations they will be using actually in real time?
See, it's kind of it's based on business to business. Okay, we cannot say it's simple. I mean easy or common. But common I can say map we will definitely use, and flat map we will use, and reduce by we will also use. Okay, group by we will use. Okay, and collect options and be very less, but save as text file or save as Spark file. So these are the collection or actions that we generally use. Okay, so it's based on the requirement. We cannot stick with one or two, right? So you can give these examples that might be sufficient. Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah.
Hope this interview might given some inputs to you, and all the best for your interview.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
And is cloud compulsory actually?
Yeah.
Like yesterday I had one interview. Like they asked for a cloud is compulsory.
Cloud? No, we cannot say it is cloud is compulsory or not, right? But yeah, it's optional. If a company is having a requirement of a cloud, they may use it, right? But for Spark, it's not mandatory. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.